Kim Davis, the heroine of the story, is out of jail for the time being. We're going to look at how God uses the unlikely to accomplish his plans. You know, the unlikely, like you and me. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
One of the reasons I do this program is to impact the way you think and hopefully what you do and say. And so I want to cover Kim Davis. She's out of jail, as you know, but I want to cover her and use her little story as kind of a backdrop for you and I. Maybe you read in the paper that she has been divorced 4 times, or this is her 4th marriage. There was a woman that my wife was emailing. They're in a little, like a group of people that online email each other things, especially political or religious things, all Christian women. And the one woman said, well, in so many words, she was the worst person that there could possibly be to be a spokesperson against homosexual marriage because she's been divorced 4 times. And my wife said, excuse me? Marriage and divorce is a tragedy, but whether you're Catholic, Orthodox, or any number of Protestants, all of them have either sacramental or covenantal ways to deal with a failed marriage, all right? It's still between a man and a woman, so it can be a valid marriage or an invalid marriage, but it's still heterosexual. Homosexual marriage is always wrong, always evil, always disordered. So if I thought to myself, how many Pharisees are out there saying this right now? How many of my viewers are thinking that? You know, that, well, Tusk, you can't be a spokesman. Let me tell you a few things. Number one, she did not plan on being a spokesman, all right? The militant homosexuals brought in a camera to capture her saying whatever it was that she was going to say so that they could take her to court. That's how come she ended up in the national spotlight, all right? So let's take that aside. It wasn't her call. She just was lying in bed at night saying, God, I can't do it. I can't do it. I won't do it. Yes, Lord, I submit to you. All right? That's number one. Number two, we don't know how much she's repented. When my wife said she's had 4 husbands, I said out loud, I said, well, that's only one short of the woman at the well. John chapter 4, the woman at the well had 5 husbands. And the man that she was living with at that time was not her husband. And yet the Lord spoke to her and used her. She became an evangelist, okay? She went back and told everyone in her area of Samaria, look, come and see a man who told me everything I ever did. Could not this be the Messiah? So I ask, do we have that Pharisee spirit on us? She's not becoming the leader of a denomination. She's not becoming the head of a ministry. She's a human being, a frail, broken human being like all of us, who said, I'll take a stand. My wife wrote to her and said, I'll stand with her being married 4 times any day of the week than any once married Christian who is a Pharisee and doesn't have the courage to stand and do what's right. God said in, I think it's 1 Corinthians chapter 2, he said, God has chosen the weak things of this world to overturn the mighty. He's chosen the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. And maybe that's what God did here. And interestingly, you remember that judge, the federal judge Bunning? He said to her, when he scolded her a week ago or so, he said to her, oaths matter. Oaths matter. You took an oath. And to which I say to the judge, Your Honor, your own words condemn you. Oaths matter. You were confirmed as a Roman Catholic. You took an oath. You took a vow at your confirmation that you would be a soldier for Christ. You violated your oath, your vow. You turned your back on Jesus. And you put a Christian woman in jail for standing up for the right thing. Don't lecture her or any of us about the value of oaths when you have betrayed your own confirmation oath to be a soldier for Christ. I want to point out one other thing. I'm going to go a minute long here. The parable of the Good Samaritan. Now, some people believe it actually happened, but whether it happened or not, here's the story. A certain man was going from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among thieves, right? And then a priest came by. Didn't do anything. Went by on the other side of the road. A Levite came by. Didn't do anything. Went on the other side of the road. But the Samaritan, he helped him. He got dirty. He got blood on him, blood and mud. Put the man on his camel. Now hear me. This is for the Pharisees out there. Maybe the priest had perfect doctrine, only was married once, was a model citizen inside of the synagogue or the temple. Maybe the Levite was a great Bible expositor, speaking out of the law of Moses and out of the prophetic books. But he didn't help her. And Jesus insulted them by making the Samaritan the hero of the story. The Samaritans were heretics. They were half-breeds, according to the Jews, and they had adopted pagan theology and mingled it with true Judaism. So Jesus making the Samaritan the hero of the story was a double rebuke to the priests and to the Levites. So I close this section. Maybe she has had a rough life. She said she played in Satan's playground for many years, and then she had a conversion to Jesus about 4.5 years ago. Okay, she stood for the truth. She was like the Samaritan who saw the need, got dirty, was willing to risk her reputation, her freedom. And maybe the priest and the Levite, maybe they're like most of the Christians today, or many of them at least, who go by on the other side of the road. They'll show up at Sunday school. Maybe they're on their way to church. They'll show up at Sunday school looking good, smelling good, nice cologne, nice perfume, nice hairdo. But in the back of their mind, maybe they can hear the cries of that abandoned man in the ditch saying, please help me, please help me. And then reliving what excuses they gave for themselves. Why, no, it's not my job. It's not my calling. I stand with Kim Davis. Kim, God bless you. Christians must be involved in government, period. If Christians weren't involved in government, we would not have a United States of America. And there have been brilliant Christian minds over the centuries, such as John Locke, who is called the philosopher of American liberty. He was quoted by Clarence Thomas in his recent dissent on the homosexual marriage decision. If we don't understand John Locke, we don't understand the founding of America. I want to send you this book and my book, The Sword, subtitled The Blessing of Righteous Government and The Overthrow of Tyrants. I want to send you these two books for a gift of whatever you can afford. Pay the $8 shipping and handling, which does not cover our costs, and then give a gift of whatever size you want, and we'll send you these books. If you cannot afford anything but the $8, can't even afford that, write us a note, and we'll send them to you for free. I want you to have these books so that you can be better equipped to fight in the political arena. Come on, order them today.